Welcome into a Week 17 Packers offensive review against the Baltimore Ravens. Packers lose this one 24-41. It was a close game in the first half, but went downhill very fast in the second half, especially after Malik Willis's shot wore off and he had to exit the game. I have fewer plays this week, been busy with the holidays, obviously New Year's, Christmas, so this is a little bit later than I normally would get a video out, but here it is. Let's dive into the film. First play for the Packers offense after a very long drive by the Baltimore Ravens. Here we get, essentially a run look. You've got three deep. It's going to be a cover three, just traditional. They're all going to drop to their spots, but this means you're essentially going to get a one-on-one shot on the outside. I think the anticipation is, hey, they've got Malik Willis. They're going to try to pound the ball on the ground. All right, that's why you've got so many guys close in the box here. But I think this is a good alert read here. You can see Willis keeping his eyes to the right, trying to freeze this safety. All right, ensuring that he's got that one-on-one shot, hits the end of his drop, and puts a perfect ball there for Dobbs. Really nice job by Willis on this play. He really, he played very, very well in this game. Well enough where he's not going to be with Green Bay next year. A team is definitely going to give him a contract. He kind of showed his escapability, his passing ability in this game, and someone is definitely going to sign him for about 10 to 15 million a year to be their starter. And then you've got the second real play. Packers had back-to-back penalties, both dead ball fouls, and you're going to get a nice seam shot here. You can see the shell of the defense, all right? You got too high, essentially, where they're rotating. You end up getting just a pure cover two look. One deep safety here, one deep safety here. Middle of the field is going to be wide open. A nice pocket for Willis. Morgan had a pretty solid day, all right, as a tackle. I think he looked better as a tackle than he does at guard. But that's a nice line drive into Christian Watson. We'll see it from the end zone angle here a little bit better. But pretty decent job by Jordan Morgan. And that is a nice ball above that nickel defender, below the safety. Watson able to take it in for a score. So early on, Packers striking quick. Probably didn't help their defense after a long drive, having to go back out there exhausted. And that's kind of going to, we'll talk about that in the defensive video. Next play is going to be very quick. Not going to talk about too much. Just focused on, Malik Willis. He's trying to read the defense. He's using the motion to set the identifier, figuring out what they're in. Could be some form of zone coverage. There's really not much movement here. And I think he gets into his count too much, his cadence, right? And if you start saying, green 19, and then you're like, can, that center is expecting after you go green 19 that you're not going to be changing the play again. Right, there was no easy. He just went straight into can. I'm guessing he's after the color number combination. He just goes to can, and center was anticipating, hey, that's going to be, whatever comes next, that's going to be the count. So I'm going to get this snapped. And unfortunately, Willis trying to change the play, not expecting it. Ball hits him in the face. Unlucky bounce right to the defender. Sets the Ravens up for an easy score. And here we are. Reading this end player. That's the key for Malik Willis here. And there's just going to be nothing there because he goes inside, right? So he's already occupied by a blocker. So now he could either give this when there's going to be a backer here, or he can keep that ball, take it out, and he's just got to beat this corner. And we're going to see that corner comes down trying to get into run support. And Malik keeps this ball for quite a long time, where it forces Marlon Humphrey into a bad angle, and then he's able to use that speed, get outside, and have a nice 22-yard scamper for a touchdown. We'll watch it from this angle as well. All right, obviously, good job, selling that inside zone before pulling it, because now Humphrey out of position, trying to chase him down. So by sticking that ball in the gut and holding onto it, reading it for a little bit longer, that's giving him the space to run for a touchdown. Next one, we have a sack here. There's really not much downfield for Malik Willis, and O-line does a decent job. Banks is trying his best. He feels that Sean Ryan here has this player. Walker just gets bull rushed. Banks is trying to help. Doesn't really give much there on him. But Malik Willis, scrambling, try to find anything downfield, but there's really not much. He's rolling to his left, so it doesn't make much sense for him to get set and then try to throw back down to this outlet. But really, Musgrave, you've got two guys here. He's locked up, he's locked up, he's locked up, and if he's rolling out, that's going to be a long throw anyways, and then he can just sink and take that. Right, so there's really just nothing open. And eventually, by rolling out, he's not going to have as much protection out there. So, of course, he's going to end up taking that sack. We see it from the end zone angle as well. All right, Banks, he's feeling things out. He's just a little bit slow on there, trying to get help for Walker, so he doesn't actually take him to the ground. And he's just trying to seal that backside for Willis. And there's just no one there. No one able to take 98 and protect Willis for a little bit longer, trying to find something downfield. It just takes the sack. That's okay. The very next play, you get a 30-yard gain by Jaden Reed. Here you get pressure. You can see up at the front, Hamilton walking down. You've already got, 5 across, and you're getting another guy coming down that's going to make a stunt, and that's going to create pressure right away. Someone gets through, forces Willis to roll out, and then we're going to pay attention right here. Humphrey, he's anticipating, hey, he's going to just try to get this out quick. He's rolling out. There's pressure. He's going to check it down. So he's going to fire down, even though that's his responsibility to attach there. So Humphrey leaves that, and that's going to give just enough space on this flood concept for Reed to get there, make a nice catch, get 30 yards on this play. So that negative play, the sack, doesn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things. Continue to move the ball downfield regardless. Here you get that pressure up front. Offensive line trying their best. Banks really not doing that well, but he is trying to occupy 53. And usually you're trying to occupy the bigs. I think normally what should be happening is Banks should be taking 98 because it's a lot easier for a running back to pick up a linebacker than it is a 300-pound defensive tackle. All right, so he's a little bit late on that one. And he's able to float that in there nicely for a big gain. Unfortunately, not able to break a tackle, get extra yards, but keeps the Packers on track nonetheless. Then you have the very next play. Pretty good sequence here by the Packers. You're going to get the play action, and that pass protection is going to set up quite nicely. You can see trying to get this pull action. He's going to kick out, but he's going to stay in pass protection. So Morgan is going to help double here with Belton, and they get a nice job, a nice double team there. Basically cutting that pass rush. Walker's guy gets pressure, but he's able to spin out and find Watson downfield just wide open. All right. You get kind of this miscommunication. You've got these two deep crossers. You got a little bit lower, the higher cross here, and you're just going to see all this kind of communication that goes wrong. All right. A little bit of a pick play, and that's going to get him free because Malik Willis is able to extend the time in the pocket and find him downfield. So a really nice job there. The pocket presence from Malik Willis, feeling this pressure off the side. All right, keeping his eyes downfield. He can see 94 getting in his face, spins out, gets his eyes on 41, steps up, still looking downfield, and a nice ball to Watson, who runs free. This is a really nice route by Watson. This is kind of teach tape of what you want to see in a receiver. He sets outside, but then you can see his shoulders kind of turn inside. Right? He's turning inside, and watch what that's going to do to this corner. You can see he's already looked over his left shoulder, but now that he feels him go inside, he turns back inside And that's where you want to be as a receiver, right? If you are now in his blind spot and he keeps pressing, right, keeps pushing downfield into that blind spot. So now he turns his head to the right. Now I'm going to press his blind spot here, and we're just going to have that speed out, that blaze out at, 20 yards essentially. Slide and catch. Just really nice job by Christian Watson. He has looked impressive since he came back. And Packers look like they have a steal with that $12 million extension for one more year. Seems like the Packers were picking on Wiggins, number 2 down here at the bottom. This time he's matched up with Bo Melton. He's got eyes on the quarterback. But you're going to see this slugger route. He's going to basically sell this slant, get up, and that's going to be a nice ball by Willis as well. So you're going to see pushes vertical. He uses this head fake. You can see fakes opposite of the direction he's supposed to be cutting. Textbook. That one step is enough for him to look back at the quarterback, right? So he's taking that step, that read step, getting back to the quarterback, and that's just going to give enough space to Bo Melton. And a nice ball there. Again, right over the top of the coverage. Not too deep for that safety, not too much air on it for that safety to make a play. And Melton's able to make a nice catch there for 34 yards. And everything up front seems pretty solid. Jordan Morgan, obviously paying attention to him because he's struggled a little bit early on this year. It's a good job handling that, the power from Van Noy, a veteran. And Bo Melton making a nice grab there. A little bit of a body catch, but that's all right. Gets the job done. And we're going to only look at 2 more plays. One more from Malik Willis. Again, he's just going to be reading out here. He's going to have another read option where he's going to pull. He's going to get a touchdown here, this time from 11 yards out. But this is more of like a play action of sorts. You can see offensive line isn't actually going out, and you've got a route concept, right? So you kind of see this develop. There's really not much out there. You kind of have this, spacing concept a little bit, where you're going to have him sit down. You're going to get him a little bit further up. And this is going to kind of wall defenders off. Cutting off those pursuit angles. And Willis just able to use that speed to get across the goal line. And we have the last play that we'll look at. Really not going to look too much into Clayton Tune. He's definitely not going to be the starting quarterback for the Packers for very long. Obviously, we've got one more game where he'll be starting. But here you try to simplify the concepts for him. This is a concept in every single offense. You've got your stick, you've got your out, you've got your fade. Day one install for pretty much every offense. You can see he's on time. Bo Melton just needs to catch that. Right? He knows he's going to get hit. You're trying to get back in track. All right, it's 2nd and 10. You want to get at least 5 yards in this situation. Bo Melton drops it. Gets picked off. And that's really killing the momentum for this Packers offense. And that's going to do it for this video. Packers offense obviously started out hot. Second half was a little bit rough. Would have liked to win this game because it would have given the Packers at least a win in their last 4 games. Now, with Malik Willis's injury, Jordan Love sitting out the following week, with Clayton Tune as a starter and Desmond Ridder being called up when he's just joined the team, there's really no expectations for this Minnesota game that's coming up. Anticipating a loss. It's going to be 4 straight losses going into the playoffs. But hopefully they surprise me and we see Matt LaFleur draw up a game plan for Clayton Tune to dice up the Brian Flores Vikings defense, which I don't see happening. But anyways, thank you guys for stopping in, watching this video. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next one.